Bill Molyneux here with Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear, and I have Kevin with me also. And we are in Kinston, North Carolina, and we are at the First Battle of Kinston, December 1862. And we are going to check out this one section of the battlefield and drive around and learn all we can about the First Battle of Kinston. There are two. There's another one in 1865. Well, the Battle of Kinston, the Federals turned the Confederate flank. So here we have maps, and the Confederates are outnumbered like 4-1, I believe it would be. So this section of the battlefield, actually you are here. There we go. And we're gonna, this site is dedicated to the memory of Wilbur Fred King III, 1966 to 2003. Will King touched the lives of many people in his quest to preserve Lenoir County's Civil War battlefields. Will's great love for history and his leadership were inspiration and a driving force in preservation endeavors of this community. Very nice.
So it's a memorial not to the Confederates, but to the fellow who helped.
Here we have, not for wages, not for glory, 'twas for home, right they fell. And the Confederate soldier, 1861 to 1865. And we have a Johnny Reb at the top. And let's see what's on the, anything on the sides or back of the monument. The Valor men from Lenoir County wore the gray, erected May 10th, 1924 by the A.W. Waddell chapter UDC. Oh. All right, well, we're going to walk around a little bit. I think we have more placards to look at. The walking trail. Members of Lenoir County Battlefields Commission meeting in regular session April 14, 2003 expressed their desire to recognize efforts of Will King III as follows. So, we're going to walk the field here, and we're going to check out our artillery piece. Here we have another 6-pounder, and similar to, this is a 6-pounder model 1841 field cannon. Very nice. And so as we travel throughout Kinston, we've run into several cannons. Now here we have different markers for different states that were here. New Jersey regiments, the 9th New Jersey, and New York. All right, New York had the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 85th, 92nd, 96th. 3rd Cavalry and 3rd Light Artillery batteries were here. Now, what this site has is a listing of all the different states and what regiments were at the First Battle of Kinston. We have Massachusetts, and I'm not going to read off all these regiments. So there's another state. Connecticut, they were present. The 10th Connecticut. Rhode Island, a Rhode Island regiment was here. The 1st and 5th. And Pennsylvania, 85th, 101st, and 103rd. Okay. Well, we're going to walk back to the car And hello, Bill Molyneux here with Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear and Kevin and Walt, and we're in Kinston, North Carolina, and we are at the first Battle of Kinston. Did you know there's 2 battles in Kinston? Well, yeah, there are 2 here. One early war and one extremely late war. We are going to walk around the first Battle of Kinston, battlefield stop number 10. So let's see what we can see. All right, well, here we go. And the night of December 13th, 1862. Boy, that would have been a mess up. After the fighting near Southwest Creek, the Confederates withdrew towards Kinston. Marching north, they crossed a creek and waded through the frigid swamp. Many cold, wet soldiers spent a miserable night at Harriet's Chapel.
And they're not the first time they've done that, I'll bet you.
So at this roadside stop, a lot to see, a lot of walking paths. Fighting at Harriet's Chapel. So, as I lay there and listened to the Yankee bullets rattling upon the walls of that church and saw the weatherboarding perforated like a pepper box, I felt and thought, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Those Yankee scamps were making the building mighty holy. Holy with holes. So, the first Battle of Kinston, the site of the Harriet's Chapel. Harriet's Chapel saw some of the most intense fighting in the Battle of Kinston. In 2010, the Historical Preservation Group moved this building, once New Bervinian Primitive Baptist Church, to this site to interpret Harriet's Chapel's role in the battle. Okay. Kevin, I'm sure the door is locked, but I doubt there's any kind of a park guide in there, but why don't we just check? No? All right. I was 100% sure. Okay, there's a lot of neat stuff here. Really got to say the town of Kinston really promotes its Civil War history. This is an 1841 6-pound field gun, smallest caliber smoothbore cannon used in early in the Civil War, both sides. Cannons like these were used in the Battle of Kinston. This is a non-firing replica that Goober the Traveling Bear is checking out. Very cool.
It's unplugged too.
And Goober doesn't like that because there could be bees in there, Kevin. How would you like to have your head put in a cannon barrel? All right.
My head won't fit.
Your head won't. We have that 6.4 Brook gun, it would have.
Oh, not even that one.
All right.
Too.
There is so much to see here in just one road stop. And luckily for us, Walt is really into doing all 22 stops. Caring for the wounded as the fighting surged past the church and the battle moved into Kinston, surgeons of both armies began the task of caring for the wounded. Harriet's Chapel became a refuge, and men from both sides found care at the church. Wow. And there's the interior.
Hey, is this the Confederate monument? No, this is it.
The Confederate defenses of Kinston. Confederate engineers built fortifications around Kinston and along the approaches from New Bern. You can see a portion of those earthworks from the boardwalk. This line of earthworks originally straddled the road to Jones Bridge, which was near the site of the current US 258 Queen Street Bridge. The earthworks on this side of the road ended up at the Neuse River. Those on the other ended up at Deep Swamp. Wow. Yes. All right.
December 13th, 14th, wasn't that
Kinston Battlefield Park, Harriet's Chapel and Stars Battery Site. This site is the center of the Confederates' line during December 13th, 14th, 1862. Wow. The earthworks here are fragile. Please do not climb on them. And we will walk up here and check them out. We have volunteers support this site. The Historic Preservation Group expresses appreciation for North Lear High School. John Gray Foster's long blue line slowly marched north from the southwest creek towards the Confederate line. The Confederates behind the formidable line of earthworks protected by the swamp in their front braced for the Union assault. Sounds
like a tough nut to crack.
The Confederates were outnumbered,
yes,
like 4-1.
Yes.
Now here we have.
But they were entrenched behind a swamp.
And here we have.
The earthworks you're not supposed to climb on.
We're not supposed to climb on the earthworks. Kevin is at the swamp.
I don't know what the river is.
So here's the earthworks.
It's the Neuse River, I suspect.
And the swamp. Boy, fighting as the Union through this swampy ground and then fighting over earthworks. And I gotta say, this first battle of Kinston boardwalk battlefield is really neat. The action in the swamp. A large swamp separated the advancing Union Army and the Confederate defenders 1/2 mile north. Described by one Union soldier as difficult to cross and densely covered with growth of small trees and pines. The swamp slowed the Union advance and provided cover for the Confederates.
Yeah, waist deep water there.
And waist deep swamp water.
In December.
And it had to be cold, December. 24 guns of the 3rd New York Artillery supported General Wessel's infantry as they advanced through the swamps toward the Confederate line. The overwhelming firepower of Union infantry and artillery eventually forced the Confederates to abandon the line and fall back to Jones Bridge. Okay. And we have the guidon with the 3rd Light Artillery right there. And we have an overlook we're coming up to.
Stars Battery. In front of you is the position held by Captain Joseph B. Stars Battery. Stars Battery defended this position against the Union advance on December 14th. Finally, his ammunition exhausted, Starr withdrew across the Neuse River. Captain Starr had lost 1 gun at Southwest Creek the day before, but his remaining 5 smoothbore cannon fought tenaciously that cold December Sunday. The Confederates deployed artillery at key positions along the line to aid the thinly stretched infantry. A South Carolina soldier witnessed its effectiveness. The enemy first attacked our right and were repulsed several times by our artillery and infantry. Our infantry did good execution, sending the Vandals back at every onset. Starr and the rest of the Confederate line held for hours against the much larger Union force. A soldier of the 17th Massachusetts wrote of the Confederate artillery fire as it pounded them. The fire of the rebels upon our attacking columns was rapid and well directed, and it did great havoc among them. Captain Starr held until his ammunition was exhausted. With no ammunition and Union infantry pressing them, Starr had little choice but to pull back across the Neuse River. Starr abandoned 1 gun, all of its horses killed by Union fire.
Amazing. Thank you, Kevin.
Quite well. If you like.
Hold on. Let me get the microphone over to you. All right, Kevin, can you talk to me about the first Battle of Kinston?
Certainly. As Foster approached Kinston on December 13th, he encountered Confederate defensive forces under General Nathan G. Evans, better known as Shanks Evans, 6 miles southwest of here at Woodington on the Wilmington Road, present-day US 258. After a fierce fight, Evans strategically withdrew to earthworks here and prepared for Foster's second attack, which came about 9 a.m. on December 14th. Evans entrenched about 2,000 North Carolinians and South Carolinians here in a semicircle extending about a mile from the river on my right to a swamp across Wilmington Road on the left. About 800 feet of the earthworks survive nearby. You are standing, or I am standing, near the site of Harriet's Chapel in the center of the Confederate line, where a section of Starr's Battery and Colonel James D. Radcliffe's 61st North Carolina Infantry stood. Because Harriet's Chapel was a prominent feature on the landscape, it became the principal point of attack for Foster's troops as they advanced across the ground behind me. Supported by heavy artillery fire, the Federals broke through the Confederate left flank. Evans ordered a retreat to Kinston across the Jones Bridge, which stood just downstream from the modern one, and fired the span. After a brief stand on the north side of Kinston, Evans withdrew his troops. Foster and his men spent the night of December 14th in Kinston and left for Goldsboro the next morning, destroying the remains of the bridge.
Thank you, Kevin. In the Kinston, North Carolina Visitor Center, they have some American Revolutionary War and American Civil War items on display, which is very neat. Civil War musket, a Union canteen, let's see, we have some Weiss fork, North Carolina. 6 sons served and 6 survived.
This is Dennis Harper's book about his ancestors.
Okay.
6 brothers, all served, all survived.
We have some.
Though 4 of the 6 were wounded.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 in the head.
We have some artillery projectiles. And this canteen, I'm wondering if this canteen may be Spanish-American War. And
the definitive book.
And we have there he is, and we had our tour today with the Battle of Weiss Fork. And here we have a British Grenadier uniform and a saddle. And what's in this display case, Kevin?
Henry Sutton's vest, picture of him wearing it.
Okay.
And he appears to have been hit in the face or something.
Henry Sutton was born in 1837. And Kevin, can you continue?
Sure. His father was Benjamin Sutton, and his mother was Mary Hines Sutton. He married Nancy Cotton. Henry resided in Lenoir County and enlisted at Fort Lane at age 23 on September 3rd, 1861. He served in Company C, 27th Regiment Infantry. Company muster rolls and regimental records indicate that he was killed in battle during the Battle of Sharpsburg, also known as Antietam Creek, on September 17th, 1861. His family preserved letters Henry, Nancy, and other family members wrote during the Civil War. So he survived just a year after enlisting.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first Battle of Kinston video. Just sort of put it together the best we could. And we learned a lot. And the town of Kinston has a lot of Civil War history in Kinston, North Carolina. Well worth spending a couple days here. You have the first Battle of Kinston, and then the Battle of Weiss Fork. Some call it the second Battle of Kinston. The CSS Education Museum, and the CSS News 2, and a lot of antique stores. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and thank you for watching